families in India, I'm here, what am I doing here, all of those things. That questions keep rising, right? Maybe Carnatic classical, Hindustani or Bharatanatyam, Kathak, whatever, right? The Indian art form has a very strong base. They say women and men are equal. Are you treating them equal? No, you're not. I don't think they are.
You get university credits because
Exactly.
it will motivate children to do more because
Right.
then you get into a good university and they can always say that this art form made me gave me some credit to get into a good university.
That's right.
When you're in a country like this and you have a family, to feed, basically, you need that, extra income, and finding a job is always hard. And the one you had is no longer there, and you're in this maternity journey. I think it's a hard phase to, go through for any women, right? As a family, it's a very difficult situation.
Bharatanatyam, right? You have physics, you have chemistry, you have biology, you have math, you have everything in Bharatanatyam.
Hello and welcome back to the Rai Connect, stories that inspire, journeys that unite. I'm Pranita. First of all, I would like to say thank you to all our viewers and listeners for showing so much support and love towards our podcast so far. And I'm sure you all will show more love in the future as well. Also, we wanted to ask you guys, if you have a topic of interest that you want us to discuss in our podcast, please leave a feedback in the comments below and we would approach a guest who can talk on the same. Also, if you have a story to share, send us an email to theraiconnect@outlook.com and we would love to hear your story.
Hey everyone, I'm Sakshata. Today we have a very special episode lined up for you all. Our guest in this episode is someone who truly embodies grace and culture. She's a trained Bharatanatyam dancer. She's also a founder of a dance school here in Canada. She's a mother of 3 boys who has navigated life's transition with strength and authenticity.
From moving countries to building a community through art, to juggling family, a career in IT, and her passion towards dance. She's a true example of resilience and what creativity can achieve. Join us as we welcome Srimati Vidushi Deepika Bhushan, a woman of tradition, talent, and a tremendous heart.
So, Deepika, welcome to the Right Connect. Thank you for being here today to share your journey with us. And first of all, I must say you're looking very pretty in this beautiful sari. So, I have a question for you now. So, is sari a go-to attire for you?
Sakshita and Pranita, it's really nice meeting you both. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm really excited to share my journey and talk about myself, what I've done so far, and everything. Thanks for the compliment. Yeah, I love sari. Sari is something I love wearing. It's not because I'm learning Bharatanatyam, that's why I'm wearing sari.
Okay.
No, Bharatanatyam is my passion. It's something that I love and it gives me a lot of happiness. But what I wear is according to the occasion and something that makes me feel happy and something it's something my mood, right? Okay,
Yeah.
today I want to wear sari, I'm gonna wear sari. Okay, if I'm going to work, of course I cannot wear sari.
Exactly.
Everyone will be looking at me. So I'll wear formals or
Yeah.
semi-casuals or whatever. So yeah, but sari is something that emotional connect is there. So thank you for the compliment. I'm blushing right now.
But as Sakshita said, you look very pretty with the
Thank
sari,
you.
and
Thank
the
you so much.
color is beautiful.
So let's start with your background, Deepika. So we want to know like where you're originally from. Let's touch upon your roots a bit.
Yeah, so as I said, I moved to Mysore, I think when I was in second grade, and my family also moved there. So most of my education I did in Mysore. And then as soon as I did my undergrad, I think my parents wanted to get rid of me. So I got married way too early. I was probably 21 when I got married.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so, and that's another funny story, right?
Mm.
So I want to tell you this because I'll tell you why I wanted to tell you this. So the first time I saw my husband, he was there in India for a vacation or so. So somehow they got our horoscope and all of those things. Mine was a purely arranged marriage. So they came, and first time it was like his parents, his sister, his grandparents, everyone came to my house, and we spoke for like good 30 minutes. And then next time I saw him after a week or so in his place, we spoke for another 30 minutes. And our parents were like, "What's your opinion?" And in our mind, it was like, "Okay, something is connecting. We can talk."
Hmm.
My dad announced, "Okay, let's do the engagement today."
Wow.
Oh wow!
Because he was supposed to leave in the next 2 days,
Right.
and they were like, "Let's do the engagement." We went, we shopped rings, and we shopped the dress and whatever. We came home, everything was set up with like 15-20 people of us, like 10 people from his side, 10 from our side, and the engagement was done. Even before I realized that I'm getting into a relationship, I was hooked.
Yeah.
The first thing I still remember, right? I first thing I came home and I was like, I updated my Facebook account and Orkut
Oh.
account saying I'm engaged. So that was the time. At 21, barely you know anything, right? You
Exactly.
don't know what all packages that comes up with,
Yeah.
what all hurdles it comes with.
True.
So yeah, and then the next time I saw him was at the wedding.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
And like today, we didn't have that WhatsApp or whatever, right? We didn't have WhatsApp back in
No.
15 years ago, right? So it was just Skype or Google Hangout maybe.
Mm.
And it was on the laptop and a pretty bad webcam. And whatever time we used to discuss, okay, tomorrow we're going to meet around this time. You log in at that time. You
Okay.
talk for like few minutes, and internet was expensive and it was not that fast as what it is
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
With so many things, yeah, we got like okay. The next time I saw him was pre-wedding, like
Right.
9th was our wedding, 8th I saw him at the Var Puja.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
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 They didn't take me to receive him from the airport. No
Oh.
pre-wedding shoot, no bachelor party, nothing. Traditional Var Puja and the wedding itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then immediately he left. After 2 weeks, he left to US.
Okay.
When he saw me, he was doing his PhD. And then by the time we got married, he quit his PhD and he started working.
Right.
So he had just joined work, so he had to go back. So we went back. So I thought, okay, immediately I'm going to US
Yeah.
anyway, so it's okay. But then my visa got rejected.
Oh.
So I was stuck in India for the next 9 months.
Okay.
So literally about a year after, I reunited with my husband in US.
Okay.
Okay, after that I applied for my visa again with almost every day I have cried.
Yeah.
And my in-laws and my parents was like, oh my god, please take her away from us. I'm done looking at her like this.
Crying all the time.
And then yeah, it was
Yeah.
a hard journey. Like 1 year we stayed apart and then we reunited. The reason I wanted to tell you this, right? We women, whoever we come out of the country, we come out, right? We all have a story, something like this.
Yeah.
We think that it's only we. I'm sacrificing. I have done so much things. But when you hear, you will know that you might have a story. Sakshata might have a different story.
Yeah.
We all would have gone through all of these things. Today's generation, they do not have the patience. I don't know. They just change relationship like t-shirts. Don't you
Yeah.
agree with me? Like they get into a relationship, they date, they go around, and they say it's not working out. They quit, and then, or some people they would have got engaged. They go to the wedding. The parents would have done all the preparations, everything for the wedding. They say no, it's not working out.
Yeah.
Okay. The next level, they even get married, and then they say they will divorce.
Yeah.
Marriage is a compromise.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
not something that you both are from a different part of family. The upbringing is different. It's definitely a compromise. Whether it is love marriage or arranged marriage, that's what I say. I think we should have that patience, that that compromise from both the side, not just the women. Both husband and wife have to compromise and go on. That's something I wanted to tell the young generation, that give the time, patience,
Yeah. Yeah.
and compromise is must. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I have studied, I have done everything. Why should I compromise? It doesn't work that way,
Yeah.
right? It is life is a compromise.
Absolutely.
It definitely, I think it takes time. They say, right? Like, yeah. So I think in every relationship, when it comes to arranged marriage, like you wouldn't know that person, right? So you need time to get to know that person. And I must say, like, we all got lucky. There might be like cases where, the other person is, they cannot live with that person for whatever reasons, right? So there might be cases like that too. And that's why they want to, get out of the marriage. And there are things like that which happen. But at least in our case, we all got lucky
Oh,
because
yeah.
I know all of our husbands as well. So,
Husbands are lucky.
yeah.
I agree.
Yeah,
Well,
they are
both of us,
also
I guess.
equally lucky.
True.
Yeah. So as you said, we need to have little bit of patience, of course. I think from both the sides.
Exactly.
And after a year, I think we just get used to,
I know.
the relationship basically. So the life will move on then.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
as Sakshata said, and as we already know, even like, anything we pursue in life takes a little bit of time to adjust, right?
Exactly.
So I'm sure marriage is also, a process. It's
That's
not
right.
like, you get married and everything is, bed of roses. No, of course, you go
Yeah.
through life with each other, right? So your background seems so beautiful. Like I know you went through your ups and downs and stuff. However, what made you all decide to move to Canada? Because as you said, you all were in the US, right? What made you move to Canada?
So my husband actually moved to US for his higher studies, and then after that, again, I think it was 2008 when it was a pretty bad recession time.
Yeah.
And he started his PhD, and then he discontinued his PhD and then joined job. So after we got married, of course, after a year, we moved to Connecticut. That's where first time I moved to US. We were in US for about 9-10 years.
Oh,
We
wow.
moved from places to places, and then we renewed our H1B, H4, whatnot. A lot of immigration issues in US, right? I mean, you have to keep on renewing. So we were moving from places to places. We had to renew our visas every time, and it was a long process. He was getting frustrated, like how many times do we need to renew? We need some kind of stability. We had 2 kids at that time, and then we were like, okay, we need to settle down somewhere. So we moved to Canada. He got his internal transfer to work, and I think it was 2018 when my second son was born. That's when we moved to US. I'm sorry, from US to Canada. Predominantly, it was immigration purpose. So that's why we moved to Canada.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, it's good to. I know many of my friends who have done this, like, because once you have your kids and everybody in the family, then I think their schools and
Mhm.
everything gets impacted, right? Like when you're moving to different states. So I think when in Canada, it's at least from that visa perspective, immigration perspective, I think
Yeah.
we can have that peace of mind. So
Yeah.
you get your work permit, you get your permanent resident and citizenship, and you are like, okay, I'm in a good, at least immigration wise, you're in a good situation right now. You can settle in one place, you can, build your life from there. So that's a good, that's a good way to
Exactly.
move
I
to a
think the
country.
only thing that I don't like about Canada is the weather. It's more than 6 months of cold
Yeah.
and then rain. Every day before wearing something, I have to check the weather.
Yeah.
You forget, you're screwed. Okay. So, without checking the weather, hey Siri, hey Alexa, the day doesn't start.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the only thing that I hate, but I love Canada so far. It has been so welcoming, wonderful people. I have met so many wonderful people, so many Indian community, and even at work, it's really nice. The work culture from US to Canada is so different. I think the people are different. It's really nice to be in Canada so
Oh.
far.
That's wonderful,
Yeah.
Deepika. You're saying that. So when you came here, how did you, pursue your first job here? Are you still in that same profession right now? And how many years it's been like since you have landed in Canada?
So it's been about 4.5, 5 years now in Canada. So as I said, my husband first came through internal work transfer. He still works for the same company that he was working in US. I had to quit and had to come here, and then I found a job here in one of the top 5 banks. I have changed. I was always a contractor, so I was switching from jobs to job. Yeah, I'm an engineer by profession. So I work for one of the top bank even now as a performance engineer lead. I love my job,
Mhm.
and dance is my passion. That's something I love and something that gives me happiness. So it's my passion.
Yeah.
So Deepika, it's good to see where you're now and how you're handling your IT career. And now the main part of your life is the motherhood. So we know, like, you have 3 boys and you have a beautiful family. Do you want to talk more about it, and how is life at home with
Around the
the 3 boys?
Yeah, I have to say I'm very lucky. I'm really, really lucky to have 3 boys. The only regret in my life, I always talk about this wherever I go, is I don't have a girl. That's something I cannot say regret because that was not in my hand, right?
Right.
I wish I had a girl. That's the only sad part. But otherwise, my boys are my life, and I think that every moment that I live today, I'm living or I'm breathing is because of them.
Oh.
So they give me so much of happiness. Of course, stress, tension, whatnot, everything is there. 3 boys you can expect.
4.
Oh
Including the
yeah,
husband.
of course, that's another big kid in my house. Although he calls me a kid. So I was talking to my mother-in-law, and she was just telling me, I've forgotten about my son after getting him married to you. I don't have to think about him anywhere. You're there to take care of him. So like that, yeah, I have been taking care of my big child for last 15 years now. So it's really beautiful when I come back home when I'm stressed. I have to tell you this recently, right? Yesterday, my husband gave some money to my son, and he asked him to go eat something and come. I had not cooked anything. So he went, he ate, and when he came back, Amma, I've got something for you, and he bought mango ice cream.
Oh, that's so cute.
It felt so special. He said, Happy Mother's Day. Next week I'm going for camping. I won't be here for Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day, Amma.
Oh.
I was in a bad mood actually, but it gave me so much happiness. And I thought this is the purpose of life.
Mm.
For me, my kids.
Yeah.
I'm living here for my kids. There are so many days I've got bad things in my mind. I feel like, oh, my family is in India. I'm here. What am I doing here? All of those things. That questions keep rising, right? But when I see my kids, they're everything.
Yeah.
When I dress up, they're the first one to compliment. Amma, you're looking so beautiful.
Yeah.
Like that. Your ornaments is beautiful. I think if I had a girl, then every focus would have gone to her.
Yeah.
Right? Dressing
Yeah.
her up more, and all the compliments would have gone there. But now that I'm the only queen,
yeah.
that's nice. That's
Yeah.
a nice feeling.
Right, I know. I mean, it's a house full, but yet so beautiful,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do they kind of, resonate with your dance and your teaching?
Actually, again, when it comes to that, right? My kids are the first critic. My husband is the first critic, and then it's my kids. I don't know if you follow my Instagram page. I have a Vasudeepa Dance Academy,
Yes.
Vasudeepa Instagram page. So I did this um, 9 avatars during October, right?
Yes, I've seen that.
Navaratri.
Mm.
I did 9 different Devis. So my youngest son, he loved watching it.
Okay.
Oh.
So all the matas, and he's very scared of this Kali Mata.
Right.
Mm.
Okay, so my husband has named me as Black Deepika. So whenever you want to scare him, he'll be like, "I'll call Black Deepika," and he'll be scared. But I think all the views that I've got is most views are from him.
Yeah.
He
Oh.
keeps watching. He'll be like, whenever he's bored, he comes and he'll be like, "Amma, I want to watch your dance."
Yeah.
And they love dancing. I'm performing for KST from my Vasudeepa Dance Academy.
Oh,
We
okay.
have a Yugati festival coming up, and my second son is participating in
Oh,
that.
wow.
He's not typically learning Bharatanatyam, but I wanted to do a little bit of folk, a semi-classical thing.
Mhm.
So he's loving it. My
Okay.
second son wants to participate, and he's doing it. And my first son, of course, he loves when I dress up and everything. He's a singer. He's learning professional Carnatic classical music, so he can
Nice.
understand. And when I do Natuvangam, they try it.
Okay.
Okay, whatever we do it something like tai tai tam
Oh,
and
okay.
all of that. He comes home and he wants to try that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's nice. Actually, they are showing some kind of, I don't know. Someday maybe my son will sing and I'll perform for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully that day
Oh,
comes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my aunt, my dad's sister, is a dance
Mhm.
teacher. She runs a school in Coimbatore.
Nice,
It's called Sri Natya Niketan.
nice.
So she started off. Her passion towards dance is incredible too.
Mhm.
When you say your kids were involved, right? So now my cousins, they are involved in dance too.
Wow.
They both
okay.
are like old enough now, like little younger than me.
Mhm.
So they participate in dance too. They are
That's
very
wonderful.
much involved in dance. So one of them is a singer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she sings and my aunt dances. My aunt sings too. Like
Mhm.
she's totally involved in dance.
Mhm.
So yeah, when you said that, I could like picture my cousins and my aunt
Oh,
how
yeah.
they used to do together.
That's nice. So she's a Bharatanatyam dancer
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Oh, that's
She's
good to hear.
yeah, she runs a dance school. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So your son, is he going to any like virtual classes, or there are teachers here in Canada who
So
teach
yeah,
us?
there are a lot of teachers, and she go to one of teacher in Mississauga. He has taken a break right now. Um, he's in that pre-teen phase right now,
Mm.
so I want to give him a break. He was focusing more on Western music, but I want him to get hang of Indian classical music. Not because I'm an Indian culture or whatever, but I feel our Indian classical, maybe Carnatic classical, Hindustani, or Bharatanatyam, Kathak, whatever, right? The Indian art form has a very strong base.
Right.
You get that, you can do anything else.
Hmm.
So, say for example, me being a Bharatanatyam dancer, I can get a Bollywood move. I can do it. So, a Bollywood dancer cannot do a Bharatanatyam dancer.
Correct.
Yes.
And same goes with the Carnatic classical as well. If you are a Carnatic classical singer, they have a very strong base, and then they can easily sing film hits. They have that breath control and everything, so it really, really helps. He doesn't understand that now. Maybe he will in the future. My mother-in-law is a playback singer,
Wow.
and
Wow.
my sister-in-law is a playback singer in
Okay.
Kannada film industry. Even today,
Okay.
if you see there is a Sarigamapa jury,
Yes.
right? Like a Sarigamapa show in Kannada, in Zee Kannada.
Yeah.
It also telecasts in other languages, but
Hmm.
she is the jury member in Kannada season.
Okay.
So he practices with his grandmother and aunt as well.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
So yeah,
Hmm.
and
Wait.
that's another dream of mine. I want my sister-in-law to compose a music for me,
Yeah.
and she sings for me, and I perform for
Wow.
that. May it be a live performance or recorded or something. I want to collaborate with her.
Yeah.
Hopefully that day comes soon.
Yeah, it will. If your sister-in-law should watch it, and she should do it with you.
Yeah.
She should do it with you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she is also my critic. I'll
Mhm.
be looking forward for their feedback. My
Mm-mm.
in-laws, my sister-in-law, my mother,
Yeah.
my sister-in-law on the other side.
Yeah.
So my family, right?
Yeah.
Basically, first thing I look forward is to whatever I do, whatever I buy is even may it be profession or whatever. Like even the podcast, the first thing I'm gonna share it to them and be like, how did I talk? How
Yeah.
did it come out?
Yeah. Yeah.
How am I
definitely. Yeah.
So I think once you got married, you got introduced to a music family. So before that, did your family have anyone who is on the music side, or were you the first one to
No.
enter?
So my mom always wanted to learn dance,
Mm.
probably when she was young. But at that time, they didn't have that encouragement. So I used to dance wherever I go when I was a child, and I was more into Western dance, and she wanted me to be like learn the Indian culture, and she didn't wanted me to enter the film industry back then, and she thought that's not good fit for girls or whatever. So yeah, that's how she brought me into Bharatanatyam. Once I started, initially I didn't wanted to learn Bharatanatyam. I was like,
Oh.
I always wanted to complain that my leg hurts, my hand hurts, whatnot. But then later on, today, if you ask me to quit, no, I don't want to. It's something that I love, right? You will know the value of it only when you start learning and get involved into it. I've got a wonderful guru. My guru, Dr. Vasundhara Doraiswamy. She's an SNA awardee.
Deepika, it's beautiful, to know that even your kids are following your path, and one day, they will also be maybe sitting in your place and talking about their mother and, their love for music and all that.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So now coming back to, your pregnancy journey, I want to ask you, like, how was that journey for you? Did you face any challenge during that time because you had your work and, you had your two kids in US and
Yes, yes.
the younger one in Canada, right?
Mhm.
So how was that journey for you, and how did the family support you in that journey?
Yeah, for women or men, family support is equally important, right? So I'm really lucky in that way. There are many times actually, even during my first son or second son or third son, actually, all the phases has different challenges. When my son was 3 year old, I had to change my job. Had to go to a different state, so I had to leave him with my husband. For about 8 months, we were separated. We used to travel once in a while, and all my salary went to my travel. We didn't save a penny then. Then during my second pregnancy, so again, what happens, right? They say you cannot fire during your pregnancy. You can sue them, but they're very smart, I believe. IT
Mhm.
people or whatever. So I wanted to share a couple of experiences where I had this, right? During my second pregnancy, I disclosed my pregnancy, and the next week, the next week, they fired 3 people in the same project, myself and the other 2 team members,
Okay.
and then they internally hired them back and they fired me. So
Oh.
they didn't say that they fired me because of the pregnant, but that was the reason. So it was visible to me. Okay, that's one. And again, during my third pregnancy, I was hired, and they fired me during my probationary period.
Mhm.
They said you're not meeting the standards, and they fired me. They gave me like 5 projects in the hand the day I landed, even before I got my laptop. and I was doing pretty well. I'm very confident about my work and everything, right? So they fired me because they came to know that I was pregnant from someone else. How could you do that? But I cannot question because that was not the reason. They gave my performance as a reason of firing.
Yep.
I think that instability is still there. They say women and men are equal. Are you treating them equal? No, you're not. I don't think they are. Whether in India or in US, wherever it is, I think that I don't know. I cannot say it's Indians or whatever, right? It has happened to me twice. But yeah, through this podcast, that's what I want to tell many women, right? You might have gone through the same situation where whatever, you might have lost your job during the pregnancy or whatever. Be strong, stand up for yourself. You will get back another job, another work. That's not the end of life, right? For me, it happened. I got laid off during my second trimester, and then I joined another job immediately after I delivered my third son.
Okay.
My son was 10 days old when I joined.
Oh.
And when during my second pregnancy, I was still in the hospital. My manager knew that I had just delivered the baby, but they had critical release, and they were like, "Can you please get back to work?" They were good enough to ask me that I had to get back to work within 5 days.
Wow.
I'm a mom thrice, but not once did I take the maternity leave.
Oh my
I
God.
never enjoyed that maternity
Yeah.
leave period.
Yeah.
Um, I think motherhood makes us strong. You know, this is something I want to tell all the husbands, the family, and everyone. Women who delivers more than the physical support, they want the mental support.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That's drive them as a strong mom. She's a mom. She would have gone through a lot of body changes, physical changes. I've gone through C-section thrice. All my boys were born through the C-section. I was able to get up and work and do all of this only because of my family support. My husband, my mom, my in-laws. Um, because of their support, I was able to do it. And now the technology has improved. I used to pump milk, so I used to get up, pump, and sleep. My husband used to take care of the night feedings, and then mornings my mom used to take care of the feedings. I used to come and go, whatever. Yeah, for the girls or women who has to face all these things, right? Leave the kid behind, or get back to work immediately, or lost job. Uh, don't go down. Don't feel low. Get back. It's okay. Enjoy your phase, motherhood phase. You will get a job again. If you keep cribbing and you say that, oh, I've lost my job, I have to get back to career because of this son, because of this pregnancy, neither will you get this, neither will you get that, right? Enjoy the present tense.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
God has made plans for you. It will happen.
Yeah.
So we have to be patient, wait, and again, as I said, family support is really important. With that, I think we can survive.
While talking about career and motherhood, I want to ask you this. Many women out there, they always think, while planning for a child, they think, there will be a break in their career. What's your opinion about that? Because you have had 3 kids now.
Mhm.
Do you also think that you would have been in a different level if you didn't have 3 kids? Do you think there was a break in your career?
Not really. Not really. Again, it comes to family support, definitely. And today, here, we have a lot of beautiful childcare support and everything. Don't hesitate and don't feel guilty that you're sending your child away from you, whatever. So, again, I have to say, I was really, really lucky in that way. I had sent my kids twice to my in-laws place. They were there for like 1 year. So my second son, when he turned one, he was there in India for 8 9 months, and then I went and brought him back during COVID peak period because I didn't wanted him to get stuck there. So I brought him back, but he was there in India for 1 year. And my third son, pretty much now he's living with me. Ever since he was born, my in-laws were there to support, my parents were there to support, and then he went to India. He was there between my parents and in-laws. He went to school there. Almost 2 years he spent his life in India. I was very relieved and happy, and of course, me as a mother used to feel that he's there and I'm here. I'm not able to bond. I was actually afraid that when he comes back, will he come back to me? Will he even recognize me? I
Yeah.
had that thought,
Mm.
but no, they know their mothers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now he's attached to me. Even now, before coming to the podcast, he was crying. So that bond is always there. So if you have to take a break from motherhood to focus on your career or focus on something else, even maybe your relationship or whatever it is, don't hesitate. When your parents are there, when your in-laws are there, or someone is there to support, take help.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong.
Absolutely.
You might miss a little bit of phase, your child phase or whatever, but it is good for you and them.
Yeah.
I always feel I made the right decision.
Yeah.
It was hard for me to stay away from my son, but if he was here, I wouldn't have given him the love and time that my in-laws or my parents gave him.
Correct.
Right? The attention that they gave him, I don't think I could have given.
Yeah.
Of course, dance has given me a lot of patience. By being a dancer, it gives me a lot of patience, and I can control my emotions sometimes. But as I said, I'm a human being too.
Correct.
I'm a mother too. I do lose my temper, right? I don't think I could have handled my son better back then because of all the pressure. Of course, my second son is super naughty. I can't even predict what he does next. So between the second one and third one, it's a very little gap. It's like
Yeah.
2 years gap. So it was really hard for me to handle him. Even today, when they are together, they fight, they get back together or whatever. But I always feel I made the right decision by sending him to India for 1.5 years.
Mm-mm.
I'm sure there are a lot of my friends have similar stories where they have gone through that as well.
I
Right?
have one
Nothing
too.
wrong.
Exactly. My son was with my mom for 2 years. too.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. It was as you said. Initially, I used to think that he won't bond back with me,
Mhm.
but the day, as you said, right, like what you said brings me so much flashback. The day I went back to bring him, right, we went in 2017 to bring him back. When we went in the airport, he came and hugged me,
Same here.
and that was it. I knew he knows mom is always here,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And then when we came back, he did miss his grandmother definitely,
Of course.
and grandfather, but the bond he had with me, and today he and me, he's 13 now, and he and me are super close, like we are
Yeah.
extremely close. Same with his dad too.
Mhm.
We it's all a phase, as you said, but
Exactly.
take help.
Mhm,
Yeah,
mhm,
absolutely. Now that we have spoken so much about motherhood and your journey so far in terms of moving from India to the US and Canada, and in terms of your professional life,
Mhm.
right? Now let's move to your passion.
Sure.
Yeah, I know that your passion is dance.
Mhm.
So what made you come to dance? Like what made you take up dance,
Mhm.
and what age around did you take up dance?
I think I was about 3.5, 4 years old. My mom keeps telling me that I used to dance wherever I go.
Okay.
Like wherever I go, there are little crowd. I want to make them feel proud. They have to appreciate me. They have to pamper me on all of those things. I needed that attention. So I used to dance and everywhere. But my mother was like, okay, she's getting into more of Western dancing, Bollywood dancing. Then she might enter the movie field. So she didn't wanted that to happen. So she brought me into Bharatanatyam. Initially, I didn't like it as many kids today, right? So I used to complain saying my leg is paining, my hand is paining, my stomach is paining, whatever. And I give excuses not to go to class. But when I moved to Mysore, my aunt, she found my guru, Dr. Vasundhara Doraiswamy. And I'm very lucky to have her as my guru. She's an SNA awardee. She has got numerous awards, and she has got students all over the world. Wherever you go, you can find her students. Today, she's 75 years old.
Wow.
I went in November. We all celebrated her 75th year birthday together. It was one of the best moments. And even today, she performed like 2.5 hours on the
Wow.
stage. You cannot make out that she's 75.
Wow.
I'm ashamed sometimes, like, where does she get the energy from? I don't have so much energy, but I think it's the passion and the dedication, and she has put her soul and life to dance. Yeah, I'm very lucky to have my guru.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's lovely to hear about your guru, and I think even now you shared that bonding, very good bonding with her. You've gone and celebrated her birthday. So let's talk about your training during that
Mhm.
time, right? Like, how was the training? Like, was there any formal degree involved?
Yes. So, in Bharatanatyam or any classical form, right? It could be music, dance, or whatever. We have, I think in North India it's different.
Hmm.
In South India, we have something called junior, senior, pre-Vidvat, and post-Vidvat, 4 exams. So, I think for junior, you have to be minimum of 11 years and then 15 years, something like that. That age limit is there. So I completed all of my Vidvat exam. So you introduced me as Srimati Vidushi Deepika
Yes.
Bhushan. I got that Vidushi because I completed my Vidvat exam in
Yeah.
Bharatanatyam. Yeah, I completed my Vidvat and then I did my Arangetram.
Mm-mm.
So Arangetram or Ranga Pravesha, whatever you call, technically it is the first long, lengthy program that any student would go and perform. Yeah, basically, if you look back, right, that is what it is. So yeah, basically the tradition is, when the Ranga Pravesha is performed is basically when the guru say that this student is ready to perform on the stage. It's typically a first performance that the student would go and perform in front of the audience. That is what it is. But now it's not followed like that. Um, have to say that even in my classes, right,
Mhm.
they would have just joined the child, and the first question they would ask is, "When is my child performing?"
Yeah.
So yeah, I had performed a lot before my Ranga Pravesha as well. Yeah, so I did my Vidvat, Ranga Pravesha and everything, and during the Ranga Pravesha, there had a lot of articles and magazines. They had published about me, and it said I performed like Junior Vasundhara Doraiswamy, which was like an award for me.
Yes.
Um, yeah, I got a lot of appreciation. I have performed in so many places with my guru. I've given solo performances and many group performances all over India. And even when I was in US, although I didn't start a dance school or anything, but I gave a lot of performances. I'm very
Okay.
active in this Kannada Kuta and all of those regional kutas.
Mm.
So I used to perform there as well.
Yeah.
It has been a journey, a
Yeah.
beautiful journey for me. I've been
Yeah.
performing wherever I can. When I can, I have performed.
Yeah.
So Arangetam, is it like the highest level of in dance, like Bharatanatyam?
That's a very misconception, actually.
Okay.
In Canada, in US, or wherever, this is what parents think. They think that Arangetam is the end. That's the highest. No, it's the beginning.
Mm.
Okay, all these years you have learned, you have performed, you are capable now. You are capable to perform for 2-3 hours. So we perform for like 3 hours.
Right.
Okay, like 1.5 hours, and then we take a small break,
Hmm.
and then we change the costume, and then come back and perform again. So it's the beginning. It's not the end.
Okay.
So you have to continue the journey after that. You can perform. You can be a teacher. You can be a performer, or you can be a choreographer, whatever you want to be. The journey has to continue.
Yeah.
And learning is never ending.
But in terms of exam, like a formal exam, so
Vidvat
Vidvat is
is something
some-
highest degree that
Okay.
you can get in Karnataka recognized board, right? But apart from that, there are BA, MA, PhD. You can do everything. My guru, Dr. Vasundhara Doraiswamy, she got her doctorate in the collaboration of yoga and dance.
nice.
The common form that you can find in yoga and dance, she collaborated it, and that's how she got her doctorate.
So when you said that you had to do the different levels of exams, right? I remember when my aunt, because she's also Vidushi Srimati Mridula Harish Rai. So now when you're telling about yours, I'm like kind of recalling
You can
hers.
relate so many
Yeah,
things,
absolutely.
right?
So she used to come. So she's in Coimbatore, right? So she used to come to Karnataka and she used to do her exams.
Exactly.
So I remember when you said. So she used to come. She came for her senior. I remember. I was old enough to know that she had come for her dance exam back then. We only knew it as dance exam,
Yeah.
but obviously there's different levels to it, right?
I did tell you that I was in India. I was stuck in India for 9 months, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of a blessing in disguise for me. At that time, I was an examiner as well for a junior
Oh,
grade.
okay.
So I went as an examiner. So
Hmm.
when the kids take the exams, right? And I can still remember the one of the child back then. She was a child who gave the exam. Today is a beautiful performer. I follow her on the Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah.
So that memories comes back. It
Mm.
was a nice experience. Me and my friend, we both were the examiners. One of the examiners for the junior grade. Even my mother-in-law, even today, she goes for as an examiner. It's a nice experience.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started it 4 years, and when did you get your Vidvat? When did you pass it?
Yeah. So I completed my Vidvat in 2009. And,
After how many years
yeah,
since you
actually
started?
2008 and
Hmm.
2009 is when I did my Arangetram.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I learned about 13, 14 years.
Wow.
And I'm still learning.
Hmm.
Even now when I go to India, and I want to continue my online lessons with my guru. Somehow, because of the work, life, kids, my dance school, I'm not able to do it. But eventually I want to start. And you need to have a guru.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a guru today, that practice session, that lengthy practice, that commitment, everything will happen only under the guidance of guru.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
want to get back there.
Absolutely. And like that kind of intense training,
Mhm.
and that, as you said, when you started, you were not very interested. But over the period of time, I'm sure your guru did something to
Mhm.
make you interested in the dance or in the art, right? Like,
Exactly.
otherwise it would not be like possible, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I just wanted to know, like, how has dance,
Mhm.
like, kind of influenced
Mhm.
you personally and professionally?
That's a wonderful question, actually. Thank you for the question. So, it has helped a lot as a person, personally. Like, if I'm a mom of today, I'm living my life happily today. Lots of ups and downs definitely will be there in everyone's life, right? I thank my parents, my in-laws, my guru, my dance for me being what I am today.
Yeah.
Right. So as I said, Bharatanatyam, it gives us a lot of happiness inside
Mm.
the soul. That's something you can do yoga, you can do whatever, right? But I think any form of art, I don't say specifically Bharatanatyam. For me, I can speak about Bharatanatyam being a Bharatanatyam dancer,
Absolutely.
but any form of art gives that inner happiness, and that keeps your mental sanity.
Yeah.
Okay, that even today, how I jiggle around with my kids and my work and everything, I go to dance class for 1 hour, 1.5 hours. That's my me time.
Mm.
Okay, I go there happily. I teach my kids. I enjoy teaching my kids, and then I come back. Even when I'm performing or whatever, right? Anything that comes to my passion, around that passion, that gives a lot of happiness, and that keeps me calm, and I can control my emotion, right? So in Bharatanatyam we have Navarasa.
Mm.
If you know, we have Navarasa.
Yeah.
So all the rasas you have to enact.
Mm.
In order to enact, you have to feel inside.
Mm.
You whatever it is. Like I can give numerous of examples. Even when I was performing, right? Recently, I did a performance in Richmond Hill Temple as a Ardhanarishwara.
Mhm.
So I had a very bad day that day.
Mm.
I was emotionally broken down. We had a big financial problem that day. It was pretty bad. It happened like a day before. On the day before putting on my makeup, I was crying.
Right.
Okay. But I had to go and do it. I had committed. I had to do it. I put on my makeup. I went there. I performed as if nothing happened. I was able to do it. Only I was able to control my emotions, whatever happened, and I was able to perform because I'm a dancer.
Right.
So that controlling capacity, we will have that. We will build that over the period of time when learning.
You know how parents need to have that control when the kids are, you know, in their young phase. I think kids wouldn't know like what's important for them,
Exactly.
and they'll be in that phase where they don't understand. And I think parents need to make that effort to make them understand, and you know, push. That little push is always needed, because you know, me personally, my mom, she used to send me and my sister. So we both were, you know, being sent to classical singing and dancing and whatnot, all the classes out there. But at the time, it felt forceful to us. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I think we never had that passion, and we never felt like, oh, we need to go and learn. We were just going and learning. But after a few years, I just quit. As it is, like I just gave some reason and I quit, right? But now, to be honest with you, now when I think about it, I regret it so much.
Mhm.
I always feel like if I had known, you know, Bharatanatyam or singing, maybe I would have, you know, been, when I came here, like, we always feel that, oh, I have to do something else.
Exactly.
So if at least if I had that, you know,
Mhm.
I had learned Bharatanatyam or anything.
It's never late. You can learn even now.
Oh, I did try, but because of health reasons, I couldn't continue.
Okay.
But I did try both.
Mhm.
After I landed here, I joined singing, and I had to quit because of my professional,
Mhm.
you know, I couldn't continue that. And I joined Bharatanatyam as well, and I couldn't continue because of my health, you know,
Mhm.
didn't permit me for that. So, but I think, as you said, it's never too late to, you know,
Of
learn
course.
anything. And I know one of our guests in our previous podcast, like, she is learning now. Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
she couldn't do it when she was young, so she's doing now. So I think, yeah. So
Yeah,
everybody
any
has to
form
give
of
a
art,
chance.
right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have an age limit. You can
Yeah.
learn any time
Mm.
at any point of time. There are so many senior students of my guru who have started their career when they were in 40s, and they have their own school now.
Oh,
Mhm.
nice.
They have been learning. There was a doctor who used to go to work as a doctor, right? General surgeon, I believe. And she used to come and learn. She already had like a 21-year-old son when she started, but she got bloomed. Whether to be a performer or not, she learned, and it helped her with the flexibility and the body itself,
Mm.
right? Both mind and soul, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So now you are a dance teacher here in
Hmm.
Canada, right? So you have your own dance school, which is called Vasudeepa
That's right.
Academy. Yeah. So was it part of your plan always? Like, did you have, you know, were you always thinking about, you know, one day I will be a teacher and
No, I never thought that this is going to be my career or always. I think these days, today's kids are very smart, right? I don't know what my son is going to be, but he has always he wants to become a chef. I
Okay.
think it
Oh,
came from my brother.
okay.
My brother is a chef, and he runs a catering business in
Mm.
India.
Oh, nice.
He always wanted to be a chef, and he did his bachelor's in hotel management,
Oh,
and then
nice.
so today even my son wants to be that. But when I was a child, I think I had different visions. Every time I wanted to be a doctor, I wanted to be an engineer.
Yeah.
Actress.
I never wanted to be a dancer actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
But as I said, I want to thank my mom. She was the one, and she pushed me so hard. Even when I did my exams, right, junior, senior,
Mm.
every time I used to give reasons saying that I'm in seventh grade now, I have to focus on studies. And she was like, I know how much you're going to study. You better take the dance exam. You can do both.
Yeah.
Without her support, I wouldn't have completed my Vidvat,
Oh.
neither my Arangetram. I give complete credit to my mother. And coming to my dance class, it was my mother-in-law actually when she was here. She runs her school in Bangalore.
Okay.
She has a Gagana Music School Academy. She has been running that for more than 35 years now. She teach Carnatic classical music and also light music and film hits.
Mm.
And they also have drums and guitar classes, drum, piano classes, and also a Bharatanatyam classes. Some other guru comes there and teach
Nice.
Bharatanatyam.
Mm.
So whenever she came to Canada, she used to tell me, why don't you start a dance class? That will help you as a mother, as a wife, or whatever. It will help you. It will give you that your time. You should start. You should continue dancing. You haven't been dancing. You should dance. You should continue. That's what she used to say. And this incident actually happened. She always used to say that, and we during the Navaratri period, I went to one of my friends' place and we were discussing, and they were like, my friends also said that, right? I will take an opportunity to thank my friends for this one, and I'm taking class in one of our close friend, Vijaya and Shrikant.
Yeah.
They are very well known in our Kannada community. I thank them because of their support that have been running my dance school. During that conversation, my mother-in-law was saying that you should start dance school, and they also said, why don't you start? We will send our daughters to your class. We are sending it somewhere else, sending them somewhere else. I will send it to you. And I randomly asked, okay, if you can give me place to take class. I cannot do it at my place, it's very compact. So if you can give me your place, then I will start. And she said, why not?
Nice.
You should. And that's it. It happened. Vijay Dashmi day, I started my dance school. I already had 5 kids
Oh, wow.
when I
Wow.
started.
Yeah.
All my friends' kids. So I had 5 kids already. So yeah, that's how I started my dance school. And then later I got kids. They keep enrolling and disenroll themselves for whatever reason. They might have moved away. They would have been in a rental house. They bought a house. They moved away, or as I said, they give choices to the child and they discontinue. For today, I have about 15 kids in my dance school,
Amazing.
and my dance school name is Vasudeepa Dance Academy. I dedicate my dance school for 2 people. One is my guru, Dr. Vasundhara Doraiswamy.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Sue is Sushma. Most of our Kannada community might know her. She was a wonderful human being and Bharatanatyam dancer. We lost her in a tragic car accident a couple years ago. She always used to tell me, "You're younger than me. You should dance. You dance." We used to dance together. We had performed in a couple of places, so she used to tell me, "You should start." And I always told her, "Okay, I'll come join." She used to take Bharatanatyam classes. She used to take
Oh,
online classes. I used to
okay.
tell her, "I'll come and join your class.
Yeah.
Let's practice together. Maybe I will become your faculty. We can do it together and all." Um, Somehow, my bad luck. After she passed away, that's when I started my school. So I wanted to dedicate a part of my school to her. So Vasudeepa, Deepa is myself.
Yeah.
So Vasudeepa, that's how I named it. And my mother-in-law suggested this name actually. Yeah, that's how it started. Her daughter comes to my dance school
Oh,
today.
nice.
I feel really happy to see her dancing. I see little Sushma in her. So it keeps me happy and going on.
First of all, sorry to hear about your friend, but really love that you dedicated a part of your dance school in her name. It's beautiful.
That's something, that's a very small thing that I
Yeah.
could do. I
Yeah.
think she's looking for us.
Definitely.
Rama Pabo.
She'll be happy.
I know.
For sure. Yeah. So, setting up a dance school in India,
Mhm.
where it's so rich in Bharatanatyam culture. There's a lot of people who want to learn,
Mhm.
who are like there's a lot of gurus out there, right?
Mhm.
But in a country like Canada, how was it to set up a dance school? I know your friends helped you in the initial
Mhm.
phases, but obviously you'll have your challenges, right?
Of
So, what
course.
are some of the challenges you faced
Sure.
during that time?
So to start with, actually in India, I was a dance teacher in my dance gurus academy. Also, I was teaching my junior students there. I also had a small dance school at my home where I started, and then during my undergrad, while I was studying, I used to go and teach as a part-time dance teacher to one of the dance school.
Okay.
That was my first salary. I still
Oh.
remember I got 3,000 rupees check. I used to work as a part-time dance teacher there. I bought a sari for my mom, and that gives me like proud feeling, right?
Oh.
That first salary, that first whatever 6 figures that I'm earning today, but that 3,000 is still so special to me.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So Yeah, as you said, in India it's different.
Yeah.
So in India it's like they send kids as a extracurricular activity and as an Indian culture, and they want their child to learn some form of art. And nowadays, because of the reality shows in India, right, there's a lot of reality show like
Yeah.
Sarigamapa or Dance Karnataka Dance or whatever, even not, may it be a North Indian or South Indian, Telugu, whatever it is, right? Because of that, parents send their kids to some kind of arts and whatever. And also the performances, even in my guru's school, Vasundhara Performing Arts Center, she used to do a lot of festival. Even today she does that. There used to be a lot of dance festivals where other people come and perform, and we had the opportunity to go and watch them. So not only Bharatanatyam, it could be music, it could be Kathak, Odissi, whatever dance form, right? We used to visually see how they perform, what they wear, and how different is it from our dance, and all of those things. So that exposure is there for kids even today in India. Not that people in Canada or US don't have it, they do have it, but not as much as in India, right? Kids do not have that exposure. One, two, it has become more of a social media thing right now. Instagram phase. People have very little attention. No one wants to watch a 1 hour podcast. They want to watch shorts.
Right.
They want to watch reel. Even for Bharatanatyam, they want to watch that small jati, small performance. Even here in Canada or US, even when I perform for KST or whatever, right, they give me 8 minute slots maximum,
Yeah.
5 to 8 minutes. In India, to show Rama, we take 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, we are doing a dance drama just to just for a character introduction. We need that 8 minutes.
Correct.
So in 8 minutes, we cannot do everything. Okay, it's very challenging, not just in Canada, but in today's world, it's challenging for Bharatanatyam to survive. But it's a cycle. It still have its own roots, right? It has its own value and all of those. Some people do understand that dance is not just a extracurricular activity. It gives a lot of benefits and all of those. So parents, when they enroll their child, they first come and ask, when are they going to perform? That's a very challenging question.
Absolutely.
So they should know their ABC. Adubus, what we say, or hand gestures, what we do it as pataka, tripataka, these are hand gestures. Okay, so they need to learn that first. They need to get a hang of it. They should be able to sit in Aramandi and dance for hours together.
Correct.
Only then I can put them on the stage.
Correct.
Even today, I don't perform a lot in the stage today. That's because I have lost the stamina right now because of all the pregnancy and all the phases that I went, and I haven't been able to dance like get trained like how I was in India. I'm not able to practice.
No.
Without that practice, your body will be back, right? You need some time to get back to that. So you need time. You need to practice hours together to get that stamina and get on the stage. And as a child, they need to learn. And Bharatanatyam doesn't happen in a minute, in a day, in a month, in a year. It takes several years of dedication and time. Any art form for that matter, even Carnatic classical music. A Carnatic classical singer can sing a film hit.
Right.
Okay. A Bharatanatyam dancer can do a semi-classical or a Bollywood. I can do that. So next week I'm actually performing for a KST from Vasudeepa Dance Academy, but they're not performing 100% classical. It cannot be done.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm making them perform Kolata and a little bit of Shape of You, where they do that mix up.
Yeah, fusion
right?
type.
So they can connect with the younger audience with the today's trend.
Yeah.
I have to go with that flow. That's a challenge that I learned it in a different way. My guru, even today, she performed purely classical, no semi-classical, no mixing, nothing. My guru, even today, she performs 100% classical, no semi-classical or whatever. But today, especially in Canada, outside the country, it doesn't work that way. You have to mix a little bit of Bollywood or semi-classical or some classic music, right? Even if you take Carnatic classical, today, if you see that Swalla, Raga, and all of those things, they have this traditional Indo-Western kind of music. They're still singing in a classical form. They have that akara, gamakas, and all of those things, but it sounds more modern. Same thing with dance. You still have the same hastas, you have the same moves, but the music is little different, which will make that visually attractive. That's a little challenging for me to understand the trend, to go with the trend, to attract the kids and the parents. When I do the dance class, if I do the traditional Bharatanatyam, kids will get bored.
Yeah.
Because they're learning, right?
Yeah.
You have to make it fun. Even at school, for that matter.
Yeah.
For us, we used to carry 10 kg.
Yeah.
10 kg bag, right? And my son, he just carry his lunchbox. Nothing in the bag. So in school, it's more fun.
Yeah.
Even today, when I ask my son to go and write the essay, it's like, who is going to write the essay? At school, it's fun. It's not, it's like they have this flashcards, they have this other stuff, and that's where they do the learning. Similarly, even here in Bharatanatyam, we will have to introduce like game, fun activities, more fun song. I have to make them dance for Jingle Bells or something like that, and still teach them Bharatanatyam. So it's a little challenging, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about, so things are changing so fast, right? Like we have to adapt to the change as but how do you feel about that, as you know, you come from that, you know, good background like in Bharatanatyam, and now things are changing so fast. What's your opinion on
I
that?
think it's mandatory. You have to adapt. So way our grandparents were, my parents were, and how we were, how we are today, how our kids are going to be, right? There's a lot of difference, and we have to adapt. My parents never wore jeans back then. We wore it. It's a comfort that we do. Even when you see in cooking, right? The base may be the same, the rice may be the same, but we still experiment and we present it in a different way. You go to more Indo-fusion restaurant than a typical South Indian restaurant, right? We do like it, but it doesn't mean that you can eat it every day.
Correct.
You still come back home and make the traditional dosa, traditional idli, but when you go to the restaurant, when you pay for it, you want something different.
Yeah.
And when you give a good food in a good presentation, whether it tasted good or not, that makes you like, love for food, and it attracts you, and you feel like eating it. It's the same thing with the dance as well. It's the look, it's the fuel, and you have to adapt. You have to connect with the younger generation, and these younger generation kids are very, very smart, and everything is in Google. I don't have to talk about Natya Shastra, Abhinaya Darpana, or whatever, the dance history, right? What is Nataraja, who is Nataraja, how did the dance come? I don't have to talk all about it in the podcast because everything is available in Google.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and you cannot fake, you cannot give wrong information, and you have to keep learning.
Okay.
You have to keep learning, you have to keep adapting, even in work culture for that matter. Whatever I started 15 years ago, it's not the same now.
Of course.
You have to keep learning the new languages. AI is taken care of everything. You don't need a human being now, probably, right? So you have to adapt, you have to evolve, you have to go with the trend. That is reality. I don't say it's unfortunate, it's reality.
Yeah. You briefly mentioned at some point that, parents and children as well, they don't have the patience to wait to go on the stage.
Correct.
So do you want to talk more about that?
They don't. Again, as I said, I have to go with the trend.
Right.
I cannot sit and make parents understand. I cannot go to each and every parent and make them understand. And me as a parent, I want my kid to perform as well. So when my child was learning Carnatic classical music, I was looking forward for his stage performance. Okay, what I did was, because my mother-in-law was a playback singer, my sister-in-law is a playback singer, I made him practice with them. I asked them to teach him a movie songs, film hit song, and I made him perform. He didn't perform the traditional Carnatic classical, but he performed the Indian Bollywood songs and Kannada songs and whatnot. It made me feel very proud. It made me very happy. And I should think as the same parent, right? When any other child who come to the class. So I was lucky enough, my in-laws were there to help me. So now what I do, I try to incorporate other dance forms and I try to implement that in my dance school. I still have that a little bit of traditional touch. What I try to do is, when I perform the classical because I have that practice and everything. When the kids perform, I make them perform a semi-classical, maybe colata or something like a Western music. I have to learn a little bit here and there, and I give them freedom to add their steps a little bit, and I polish it.
Yeah.
I fine tune it. Nowadays, everything is available on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I learn from YouTube, I learn from others, and then incorporate that and then do it. So that makes parents happy that the student, their child is performing.
Right.
And it makes child happy and it keeps them motivated. They feel like, okay, Deepika ma'am is letting me perform. I'm getting dressed. These girls, they love dressing up. So they dress up in the Indian attire, makeup and everything. They love it, and it keeps them happy. And I think that is what is get going, right? I want to do more of that. I want to give them more opportunity to perform. It has to move on.
Yeah.
So, Deepika, it's beautiful, like how you are enjoying and how you are supporting the younger generation, with the Bharatanatyam base as a base, and also, you're teaching them fusion as, to go and perform out there. And obviously, parents, they'll be proud enough to see their kid on the stage. I think any parent would be,
Of course.
parent would be proud enough. So when it comes to the certifications and everything, because you in India, like you said, as you said, there was junior, senior, and Vidvat. Is there anything related similar to that in Canada as well?
Yes, of course. Not only for the Bharatanatyam dance, as I said, for Carnatic classical and even for guitar, piano, everything, they have grade level exams. So they have level 1, level 2, level 3, like that. There are so many universities who take online. The exams are taken online and in person as well. They have a university called Annamalai University, and there are other universities. I'm still researching about it, but there are a lot of universities which gives certification to the kids. And in our case, back in Karnataka, we had to learn Aduvus, then Alaripu, Jatiswara, whatever that specific portion had to be completed in order to give the junior exam. Here they have broken it into pieces. Like first few Aduvus, they will give it as level 1, and then level 2. Even the small portions, right? There are, and also it gives some credits to university.
Oh, okay.
So when you're learning any art form, right, it gives some credits as well to get into the university. And they also get the volunteer grade or volunteer services certification also, if the school is registered, and the teacher can give that volunteer certification or whatever for that. So they get some credits in the university. So my son's music teacher, she runs a music school here, so she gives that. So I know from that. So yeah, there are ways where you can give exams, and it will be very much valued, and it has a lot of benefits as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know about
Yeah, even
it.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's good to know that even here in Canada,
Mhm.
though our culture is being supported in
Yeah.
this beautiful
Of course,
country,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also it's great to know that you get university credits, because
Exactly.
it will motivate children to do more, because
Right.
then you get into a good university, and they can always
Yes.
say that this art form made me, gave me some credit to get into a good university
That's right.
too, right?
Actually, what happens is earlier
Hmm.
it was doctor or engineer.
Right.
There are only two professions.
Yes.
Either you be a doctor or an engineer.
Yeah.
But today it's not like that.
No.
You can be a chef, you can be a singer, you can be a dancer, you can be an artist or whatever, right? You can choose one of your music as a career or a dance as a career. And during the schools you have something called IBT program, art program, all of those things for the kids.
Okay.
So I think it's in grade 3 and I think in grade 5, I think
yeah.
grade 5
Yeah.
they take something called as IBT.
Yeah.
It's a specialized programs, right? Art is also a program where you can enroll your child.
Okay.
So when you're taking classes like this, it also adds on when you get the credits. And when you get the certificate from the school that you have been learning so far and all, you will get enrolled to that schools easily. So you
Okay.
can learn of course in these schools here they will teach Western music, Western dance and all of those, but this definitely adds value to that.
Right. Got it.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's very nice to know that children can take up dance, and also, as I said, add to their credits when it comes to school. But how does dance benefit children when it comes mentally, physically, and even focus, like concentration and stuff? How can dance help?
Definitely. So you enroll your child to Montessori than a daycare, right? So that's because they have more motor skills and all of those things. We specifically want to go for a good school, and even the IBT schools, whatever I spoke about, it's more practical.
Correct.
The kids learn more practical way. Similarly, in Bharatanatyam, we have a lot of motor skills that we develop. Both our left brain and the right brain work together. I'll tell you how. So we are doing this thigh with the thigh. Okay, you're moving the right hand and your left brain is working. I'm actually kicking my left leg. So we are using both part of the body simultaneously. So you will your brain get activated, and it helps a lot. If you see people who write in both hands, they are more smart, right? They can they're more smart, and they have more capability to do. It's not easy to if you see your Instagram reels and everything nowadays, they ask you to write circles in both hands, or may it be a triangle symmetry or whatever, right? So that happens in dance. We use both right and left body, right and left brain simultaneously. So it gives a lot of memory power, focus, attention, and multitasking. Those things are it's very helpful in that. That is one thing. I have a child who's one of my students, right? She will be dancing, and if I correct something, she will pause. She will pause, and she cannot do it. But now that she has been continuously learning with me, I can see that progress in her. Now she's able to smile, focus, and dance and do it. And her parent does tell me that she has been able to do that multitask, and she has been able to focus more and do more at school, right? That is one thing. And physically it keeps you very active. In Canada especially, it's you look for indoor activity, right, during winter. And this is one very good indoor activity that you can do. You can learn dance, and you can drain your energy like anything. And emotion, you know how to control your anger. As a child you can see that they throw tantrums, right? And you can teach the child how to control your emotions, how to behave, how to do. Today if I'm people say I'm very respectful to elders, and so it helps in controlling the emotions, the anger and everything, right, for the child. Even during the exams actually, uh, some kids have the habit of listening to the music while they study, or they keep singing and they will be writing. I used to do that. So I used to sing and write or whatever. So Even dance, when there are so many people actually, they cut off the extracurricular activities during the exam period.
Mm.
I recommend not to do that. I think
Mm.
that's the best part my mom did. She never cut me off from that, right? It actually helps child to focus
Mm.
better.
Hmm.
Again, I'm repeating, it's not just Bharatanatyam, any form of dance, any form of art,
Hmm.
music or dance or piano or some kind of instrument, flute, guitar, make sure that your child learns something.
Yeah.
Right?
Hmm.
As much as you focus on academics, that you want your child to be good at academics and they have to score well,
Yeah.
and as much as you enroll them into swimming, skating, or something like a sport, there should be one activity which is related to art,
Yeah. Okay.
which keeps their soul and mind really good, and it really helps them in academic.
Correct.
There's a lot of benefits
Yeah.
out of learning any form of art for that
Yeah.
matter.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, how are you as a teacher in your class? Are you the strict one?
Actually, I'm very strict,
Oh,
but it doesn't work out. It
okay.
doesn't work out in US or
Mm.
Canada, right? So yeah, if you here, the kids are a little different. They are used to saying, "Hey, buddy, so sweet." Even if they are doing something wrong, "Hey, buddy, hey, sweetheart, don't do that. You're such a sweet child." They're doing something really wrong. They're banging their head, and you're saying, "Oh my sweetheart, how can you be that?" No, I'm like, you. So that's very hard to be patient
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
to control. Yeah, I'm a little strict. Again, the discipline, right,
Yeah.
for the child.
Yeah.
That also is something that comes from any art form.
Hmm.
The continuous learning and everything. But now I have been trying to calm myself more, and I'm trying to tell them. I scold them, and then I
Yeah.
go them and pacify them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pacify them and I tell them, this is what you did wrong,
Mm.
and you can do this better. You're actually a good performer.
Mm.
And I think this part I learn as a mother.
Yeah.
So my son, he keeps throw tantrums.
Hmm.
He doesn't want to drink milk. But if I scold his brother and if I tell him, you are just scolding him for no reason. Look how good boy he is. He's gonna finish his milk like a Spider-Man. Right, Neil? You're gonna finish his milk, right? And he drinks all the milk.
That's a very good time.
Yeah, that's
so
good
now
one.
I want to implement this trick on the kids.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have to tell someone and say, look how she's gonna do now.
Yeah.
She's gonna be very good.
Yeah.
Right? Aishu, can you sit in our mandi? Look
Yeah.
how beautiful she is. Okay, I have to play a little bit of drama.
Yeah.
Don't show this to kids.
No. No.
That's my trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to evolve, as you said.
Yeah.
In olden days, in our school days, even my guru, for that matter, she had a stick
Oh
in the
yes.
hand.
Yes.
But now it doesn't work out.
No.
You have to be soft. If
Yeah.
I have a stick in a hand, next moment I'll be in the cop station.
True. That's so, Deepika, it was great knowing you, knowing your passion, knowing your journey as a mother, in the corporate world, and how you faced certain challenges and you still overcame it. And I really love the advice you gave that, when you need help, take the help.
Of course.
It was lovely.
Ask for it.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah,
Ask for it.
exactly. Ask for the help, right? It's very important because nobody can read our mind, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely. So now that we've learned a lot about you and we also got to know what other plans are for Vasudeepa, let's move to our next segment. We generally call it Fast Five with the Rice, where we ask 5 questions at random and you basically give a one word or whatever comes into your mind.
Okay.
But since you're a Bharatanatyam dancer, we thought we'll mix it up a little bit. So we are going to call it Navarasa, or
Okay.
the 9 emotions in English when you translate it. So we have chits here.
Okay.
We will enact it in the English form, or
Okay.
how we know it.
The human form.
The human form, exactly. And you can enact it in the Bharatanatyam form.
Of course. Okay.
Nice.
So Navarasa with the rice.
Navarasa with the rice, guys. So let Deepika herself pick the first chit, or all the chits.
Mhm.
Oh, this is an easy one. I can do it.
No, I can't. Okay, the first one is a very easy one. Deepika will talk about it in. Deepika will mention the Navarasa in the Bharatanatyam form.
Hold
and we will-
on.
Huh.
So let's make a little bit of thing,
Uh-huh.
right? You don't tell me what it is.
Yeah, we
Ah,
are
okay,
Okay.
okay,
You
done.
don't tell me what it is.
Huh.
You act.
Okay.
I will guess and I'll do it in Bharatanatyam.
Okay,
Okay.
and then you
Okay.
tell it the
This is a
Bharatanatyam.
message for everyone. So everyone thinks Bharatanatyam is boring,
Huh.
Mm.
and not everyone. I don't want to generalize
Most
again.
of them.
Most of them think Bharatanatyam is boring, and I cannot understand. This is an argument I have it with my husband as well.
Okay.
So he says, "Okay, you do something. How would I know what you're doing? You show it in Bharatanatyam action. You will do it in something like this, and how will I know?"
Yeah.
Mm.
But my bet is you can understand if you look at it. So you watch movies, right?
Yeah.
So you watch Bollywood movies, Tamil, Telugu. You don't speak Tamil, do you?
No.
Mm.
Do you speak Telugu?
No.
But do you watch Telugu movies?
Yeah.
You watch the Tamil
Yeah,
movies?
yeah.
How? How do you understand?
The emotions,
Subtitles.
like
The emotions
now the
and
subtitles.
Of course, the subtitles.
Yeah,
Right? You have the subtitles and you can watch it.
Yeah.
And there are movies which has no voice at all. Like
Mm.
there is one Kannada movie that I can remember of is Pushpaka Vimana.
Mm.
I don't know. There could be another language
Yeah.
movies as well. Which language doesn't have to be there.
Yeah,
It's only the emotions, the
Yeah.
act.
Hmm.
Same thing is in Bharatanatyam.
yeah,
We are performing. Now it has evolved, as I said, in
Yeah.
Bharatanatyam, we use more of Aharya.
Mm.
Aharya is the makeup.
yeah.
Okay, we use the props and all of those things.
Hmm.
Like, for example, you want to show Krishna,
Hmm.
we keep that a peacock.
The peacock, yeah.
The peacock,
Correct.
and we keep that flute
Hmm.
so that you show that it's the Krishna.
Yeah.
Or if it is a Rama, you will wear that saffron
Yeah.
khadi,
Yeah.
Mm.
whatever, and then you have the jate and
Hmm.
everything, and even Ardhanarishwara
Yeah. Half.
or Shiva.
Yeah.
We do the Aharya in that character,
Yeah.
and we depict it in. We use our nritta, abhinaya,
Yeah.
and we perform. Audience can easily understand.
Yeah.
That is why I said earlier, Bharatanatyam used to be performed only by Devdasis,
Yeah.
and they used to have turmeric and kumkum as their makeup. Okay,
Okay.
and they had a different costume, and only that costume was there for any character.
Hmm.
Even when they did Rama, it was the same thing. Even when they did Radha, it was the same thing. But now it's not like that, because we see a lot of group performances, or even the solo. When I did Ardhanarishwara, I had half of women and half of Shiva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I give a lot of importance to makeup.
Yeah.
In Bharatanatyam, I give a lot of importance to makeup, because that is where you can connect with the audience.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so Bharatanatyam can be understood by any common people.
Okay.
That is something I wanted to
Yeah.
tell, right? It's not that some people won't come and see Bharatanatyam. They don't even make an attempt to watch.
Yeah.
They say it's boring
Mm.
or I cannot understand.
Mm.
No, it depends on the performer.
Yeah.
Correct.
If
Yeah.
the performer is good, if the performer has involved herself or himself
Yeah.
and performs it, and if there is a story to communicate, it is definitely beautiful to watch, and it's a lot to learn
Yeah.
from the visual drama or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we can go with your segment
Yes.
now.
So, I'm going to. I should not say, right? I'm
Yeah,
just
you
going to
don't
perform.
say.
Okay.
I'll try. Let me see how good of an actor you are.
Sure. I can't even do this. You can do it.
Shanta.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
That's a good one. Yeah, it's called Shanta.
Mm.
So
Shanta,
You can
is-
show it to the camera so they know that we
Yeah.
have acted
Yeah.
the right one.
So what she did is right. It's Shanta, also called as peace in
Peace.
English. Alva.
So I did a good acting too.
I know you're a theatre artist, right? I have seen some acting, and you have acted in a short movie as well.
Yeah.
So you're definitely a good actor.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let me see now.
I just did.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh wow.
Hasya?
Yes. Hasya, also known as happy.
Okay. We are all good at acting.
Yeah,
then.
we're good in acting. She understands us.
I hope this is an easy one. Oh, yeah, it's an easy one. Okay.
Adbhuta.
Very
Tell
nice.
what is Adbhuta.
Yeah, so Adbhuta is surprise.
I hope I get an easy one.
Oh, that suits you.
Thank you.
Raudra.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
wow.
So you
that
should have
was
remembered your
brilliant.
husband. You would have got
Yeah,
more.
I
more and more.
So it was Raudra or anger in English.
Wow, Deepika, you're too good.
And me too. I
Oh,
performed
yeah,
well,
okay,
you see.
you're good too.
Well, that's my good trait, anger.
Oh, okay. In this.
Karunya.
Wait 1 second.
Mulpandu,
Where
Mulpandu.
is it? Yeah. Karuna. I think
Karunya.
Karuna.
Karuna.
Okay.
Karuna.
Yeah. So it was Karuna and sorrow. Wow.
Sorry.
You're
Wow, you're amazing.
Yeah.
My God, this looks very.
I don't know how my expressions were, but she guessed it and she was brilliant.
How to perform this?
Veera.
Yeah.
Wow. So it is
Amazing.
Veera or heroism.
Heroism.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to sit and act. So I
Wow,
don't know
you're
how
good
much
though.
I'm able
Oh
to
my
do
god.
it.
No,
your
your expressions are amazing.
Wow. Oh my god.
Mm.
This is the hardest.
I wanted you to get this anyway.
Can I change
No, you cannot.
I don't know how to enact this.
Mm. Oh, this is very easy. I would have done it.
I don't know how to act.
I lacked.
Yeah, please.
Okay.
There are only very few now.
Mm.
Yeah, we have done most of
This
it.
is the
already.
toughest one.
Oh.
Shringara.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shringara
Beautiful.
or love?
Yeah, love. That was the toughest one.
That was
to
easy for me.
enact.
See, I told you Bharatanatyam is not boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Next one. 1 second.
Bhayanaka.
Wow. Bhayanaka or fear? And we have
So
the
bad.
last one.
So bad at acting.
How do I do this?
Oh, okay. Think
There's
about
only one.
Okay.
Oh God! No!
I am not.
Okay.
Bhivatsya.
Correct.
Yeah. Bibhatsya is disgusting, but I'm not disgusting.
It's not disgusting. I had to do it somewhere.
That was brilliant. Seriously, the way you're expressing just in your face, I don't think anyone can do that. Obviously, like I think if you're a trained Bharatanatyam dancer and you've come this long way, so it really showcases
I
in
don't know
your
how
facial
much I could do
expression.
it because it was a small space and we are between the. Yeah, that's what I said. I have to adapt that emotions, right? I have to control. We are actually having fun, conversing and everything, but I have to switch between the bhava.
Correct.
I can only do that if I'm a trained Bharatanatyam dancer, which
Yeah.
is truth.
Yeah.
Not the Bharatanatyam dancer for that matter, any
Art.
classical art form.
Yeah.
Even if you're a good actor,
Hmm.
I think, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what happens, right?
But
I
it,
think,
sorry.
yeah, sorry.
But it also, as you said when we were about to start the segment, you said that I want y'all to do not tell, and
Correct.
I want myself to understand what the emotion is.
Exactly.
You were bang on there. You
Yeah,
did it
yeah.
amazingly.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
and
Thank
I'm
you.
sure that's only proof that you wanted to say that of course Bharatanatyam is not boring. Like it is all
Actually,
about how we kind of vision it, right?
that's
Yeah.
right. So I want to tell you this, right? Do you know something called habitual gestures, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens? But actually, you both, you're not a trained Bharatanatyam dancer, but you use your hand gesture now and then when you're talking, right? So if you're calling someone, you will be like this,
Yeah.
come here,
Yeah.
or you will call like this, hey,
Yeah.
come here,
Yeah.
or something. You'll be like, hey, hi. You're showing happiness.
Yeah.
You're showing love. You're showing anger. You show anger at your husband.
Yeah.
Those are all emotions.
Yeah.
That's emotions that we do. Even with a kid, you will be like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna hit you now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we do in Bharatanatyam.
Yeah.
That's it. What you call it as habitual gestures, we do it as in mudras.
Yeah.
So say for example, you want to ask where is it?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask where.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And so there are so many things like close the window and go.
Yeah. Yes, sure.
Close the window, go.
Yeah.
Or shut the door.
Yeah.
That's what we do. We use pataka hasta and we do it more
Gracefully.
feminine, gracefully.
Yes.
Right? I close the door, close the window,
Yeah.
lock it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you will say your friend is doing some makeup or something. You'll be like, please give me that. You're actually doing abhinaya without knowing.
Yeah.
So we do it more feminine,
Yeah.
like more. What did you say?
Gracefully.
So we do it more gracefully,
Yeah.
more relatable to the act or this one. So yeah, you can understand Bharatanatyam if you actually you should have that mindset.
Yeah.
That I want to see, I want to learn, I want to know what they're doing. You have that mindset. If you see today the foreign culture, right?
Yeah.
More white people, they enjoy a lot.
Yeah.
They don't know anything about our culture, but they learn, they know, they ask questions.
Absolutely.
They try to understand what it is
Yeah.
by just about the aharya, whatever we have worn, and then the abhinaya that we do.
Yeah.
You can relate, you can understand.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful art form. As a performer, as I said, I enjoy doing it. As a guru, I enjoy teaching. As an audience, it gives me a lot of pleasure and to understand what the theme is. And there are so many beautiful choreographies. KST bought Nirupama Rajendra during the KST 50. It was mesmerizing performance. I had never seen their live performance. It was truly amazing, that synchronization and everything. So I wanted to tell you, Bharatanatyam, right? You have physics, you have chemistry, you have biology, you have math, you have everything in Bharatanatyam. So I can only speak about Bharatanatyam, as I said. So when you say math, you do the formation. In the group performances, you do a formation. Straight line, diagonal line, V, diamond. Those are all the shapes. Okay. And then patterns. It's all about patterns. Even in school, they teach you A B A B A B A B C A B C.
Yeah.
That's what we do. Tai tai tam, tai tai tam, tai tai tam. It has to go with the rhythm.
Yeah.
It has to go with the sequence.
Yeah.
It's the sequence, and it keeps changing also. We have something called Jati Adbu. Okay. Takkitta, takka, dimmi, takkitta, takka, dimmi. So it is a rhythm and it's a sequence. Okay. So it is very helpful in math, and math is very important for Bharatanatyam. And if you learn Bharatanatyam, you can implement it in math.
Right.
Okay. And then you come to physics, Newton's law, that can be implemented. Okay. Wherever there is an action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Okay, whatever you do utplavana, which you call as jump. When you jump, you land, and the gravitational force and the stability. So the center of gravity, right? So in your body, the balancing act is very important. Not only in dance, even in yoga. When you do yoga, right, you have to balance it properly. When you're doing matsya or when you're doing trikonasana or whatever, right? You have to do the balance. The same thing is implemented in Bharatanatyam as well. So the physics is covered. In chemistry, you sweat a lot when you dance, right? You sweat and then you cool down. That is nothing but thermodynamics.
Yes.
So your body gets heated up and then it gets cooled. So you have a lot of chemistry. I'm just giving you a little examples, but there are so many things that you have. When you come to biology, neuroscience, or that's what I told you about the mental stability, right? That and
Functioning
whatever
of both the sides of the brain.
You actually activate everything. When you do Bharatanatyam, you activate from the head till the toe. Every part of your body is activated. Every nerve, every bone, everything is activated. When you do the mudra, you do everything. Okay, you're utilizing the complete hand movements, your fingers. When I teach, I try to teach saying them daddy finger, hold the daddy finger up, and the little finger, show the little finger up, or something like that. And then I'll tell daddy finger, mommy finger, brother finger. Okay, keep it like this. So that's something I do it with my kids.
Rhymes and Bharatanatyam.
So they enjoy, they learn it, right? So that is something I do. So as I said, you have lot of benefits learning any kind of art form. And Bharatanatyam, as I said, it helps the child, not only the kids, even for adults, to balance their work life and public speaking, or in the career, whatever, to even to get a break from family and the kids, to focus on yourself and to enjoy. So you can say you can do Zumba, you can do Bollywood, you can do it, but the Abhinaya, the emotions, I think only the Indian form has it. Only the Indian dance form. Even when you sing Carnatic classical or Hindustani classical, even without that bhava, you cannot connect to, or you cannot relate to the audience. Only if the bhava comes out, that is when you can relate, right? That's when it sounds good. You can, I'm not a singer, I cannot sing well, but you can hear, they say it as a singer, you can see the difference between a professionally trained singer and a home singer. Without bhava, it makes a lot of difference in sounding. Similarly, in Bharatanatyam as well, just doing a dance or involving yourself and doing dance is two different things. And it gives mind, body, soul, everything be very activated, and it keeps you more energetic and helps you be more calm and focus on many things.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's a lot of information related.
Absolutely.
I mean, we only knew like Bharatanatyam. Okay, there's this dance form and things like that, but there's so much science behind it. It's so good to know about all this from you, and thank you so much for
I
sharing.
don't know how
all
much
this.
I was able to convey, how much I was able to talk. Did I talk too much? I'm not sure, but
No, not at all. I feel like, like for me, since I already mentioned to you, my aunt's a Bharatanatyam dancer. I've seen her perform. I've seen her children perform, right? But when you're saying now the connections, I can really like play it in my mind as to when she was acting, what it was now, right? Like now, probably when I go and watch back her videos, I will connect more to it, because now I've learned so much more about it, right? So yeah. So Deepika, this has been a very insightful and beautiful conversation with you. It was lovely, not just knowing about your career, about your passion, and also about your little ones. We spoke a lot about mental health and stuff, which was a great insight. So now I would like you to give a message for our listeners, which would basically help them with their journey as well.
Definitely. So first thing is passion.
Mhm.
So you will have some kind of passion. It could be cooking, it could be an art, a dance form, music, something. So pursue it parallelly. Okay. And more than that, I wanted to tell you, I think I forgot about it, the financial stability. Why I didn't start dance classes all these years, right? While I was in US, I focused more on the career than on my passion. I took time to start my dance school. That was because of my career that I was focusing on. The financial stability. It's not easy to have one salary and run a family in outside the country, right? Back in India, you will have ancestors, or you will have a place to stay, you will have maid, whatnot, everything will be taken care. Here, it's not like that, right? So, two salaries is a must and should. Uh, so, the financial stability is very important. Focus on the financial stability first, and then you can focus on your passion, whatever passion you have. Don't think passion as a career. That will stress you out.
Yeah.
If you want to take a passion and you say, okay, I'm a dancer, I want to run a school, I want to have 500 students, even before starting, it will not work. It will be a stress for you.
Correct.
So now that I have a bread and butter job, I don't stress on my passion. Okay, whether it is one student or two students or 100 students, I will teach with the same attention and the same interest because it's my passion. It might eventually convert into a career or whatever. That is what is written by the God.
Yeah.
Okay, it's my fate or whatever it is written. And then is the hard work. Hard work is a must and should wherever you go, whether it is IT, as a mother, or as a passion. The hard work has to be there. But if you do a hard work of one day, it's not sufficient. Consistency. Consistency has to be there.
Yeah.
So you cannot eat a bucket of rice in a day, right? You do that today, and tomorrow you don't eat, cannot happen. Or you put the all the effort today, and you say, okay, I'm doing something. You started a YouTube channel. I'm gonna do 2 or 3 episodes. I have put all my effort. I'm not getting viewers, and you're gonna quit. No, you have to be patient. You have to be consistent.
Correct.
One day, one podcast will click.
Yeah.
You will get millions of views. Then you will not stop.
Absolutely.
But to get there is a lot of struggle. That consistency has to be maintained, right? So, 4 is consistency, and then family support. Today, you, Pranita, myself, we are sitting here and we are peacefully talking. We are having a conversation. We all are moms.
Yeah.
We have a kid or kids to take care of.
Yeah.
They are playing somewhere. They are safe. That means we have family support.
Absolutely.
Our husbands are taking care of them.
Yeah.
And they are in safe hands. They would have had their lunch, dinner, whatever, and had their nap or whatever. We don't have to think about it. We can do it. That's all because of the family support.
Yeah.
So these 5 things is really important. You implement it, I think, and live in the moment. Live in the moment. That is something I actually learned from Sushma as well. I looked at her pictures, I looked at all her videos and everything. She has lived every moment. She have done everything. I think the only regret that she had, right? We lost her very early. I think the only regret is that she didn't see her kids growing. Uh, the kids are very unlucky in that matter, right? She was not there, or she's not here to take care of the kids today. But even when she had her maternity leave, she didn't waste her time. She went to India, she met her all dance gurus, dance classmates, her childhood friends. She made a lot of reels. She has done skydiving. She has performed, and she was so busy when she was even when she was in Canada. Her weekends were full. Monday I'm visiting someone. Morning I'm visiting someone. With afternoon I'm going here. Evening I'm going here, and she used to make sure husband, kids, herself, everyone are active.
Correct.
That's something I learned from her.
Mm.
Live today. You don't know what is tomorrow. Are you going to be here tomorrow? You don't know. Make time for your family. Make time for your kids. Make time for yourself.
Yeah.
Keep yourself happy. Only if you're happy, you can keep your people around you happy. So yeah, I want to live in the moment. My husband keeps saying you don't plan, you don't save anything, you don't plan for tomorrow. I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna be here tomorrow. I don't know what's gonna happen. Why should I think about, okay, I have to plan, I should have some money for my kids, I have to have for my worst case scenario, we should have that. But if both of us are stressed, if both of us are into the same path,
Mm.
then we are missing this present moment.
Mm.
Okay, we are
So-
missing out a lot of things, a lot of fun and something to live. Tomorrow, if we die or when we die, people should remember us for all the good things that we did,
Absolutely. Yeah.
right? All the things that we have done. I think that's the purpose of life.
Yeah.
I want to live for my kids, for my family, for myself. Yeah, that's the message I want to give.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's very nice message
Yeah.
actually. You know, a lot
That was like a complete
Yeah,
message, for
message.
anybody who
Yeah.
is listening out there.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank you so much. So Deepika, do you have a social media handle that you want to share with us so that people can, reach out to you anytime?
Definitely.
Mm.
Before giving out my social media, I want to thank my husband
Oh,
who created the website for me.
okay.
Mm.
So Vasudeepa Dance Academy. The complete website was designed my husband. When I shared this within the group, there are so many people who contacted me
Mm.
asking who designed your website.
Mm.
We want to design our own website.
Wow.
So no, he's not doing it for money. He did it with love for me.
Mhm.
So yeah, Vasudeepa Dance Academy.
Yeah.
You can find it on Instagram
Mm.
and also on a website.
Okay.
I have a dance studio in downtown Brampton. It's
Mm.
1 Nelson Street West, Brampton. It's very close to train station and bus stop. Is right opposite to my studio. It's very easy to commute. It's very close to a Sai Baba temple, so a lot of visitors I know who come to Sai Baba temple.
Mm.
Yeah, that's where I run my dance school. I do have another dance school at my friend's place,
Mm.
as I said. I take it in her basement. You can contact me for the secondary location. I don't want to disclose the address in the social media platform.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Deepika, for sharing that. And thank you so much for your time today. And thanks for being with us in the Rai Connect today and sharing your such an inspiring journey with us. I must say your the entire journey was like a mixture of tradition, passion, and strength. As a mother, I would say, and I'm sure it will definitely resonate with many of our viewers who are listening to this podcast today. And thank you so much. So as a token of appreciation, we have a little something for you
wow.
to say thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Gifts are always special. Thank you so much. I enjoyed my conversation with you, lovely ladies.
Yeah. And to our listeners and viewers, if you liked our episode, don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe. And do let us know how we did in our podcast in the comments below.
And if you have a story to share, please do send an email at therightconnect@outlook.com. We can't wait to share your stories in our podcast.
Until next time, this is Pranita and Sakshita signing off from the Rai Connect, where stories inspire and journeys unite. Thank you.
Thank you.